Former CIA guy Mike Baker joins me now. Mike, President Trump has reportedly told Maduro to leave Venezuela to protect himself and his family. I imagine that the CIA is talking to Venezuela's generals to see where they stand on Maduro's exit. Is the CIA right in the middle of this in Caracas?
Well, they're in the middle of it in the sense of, providing intel, analysis, whatever support the White House asks in terms of pursuing national security interests and priorities. Look, there have been reports, most unverified, that Maduro had reached out over the course of the past week and a half or so to potentially float the idea of his departure and his possibly immediate family and possibly some close senior personnel around him. Whether that's true or not, it really is the goal of this entire situation, right? Is to get him to make that decision on his own, or to get his circle of advisors to tell him, now it's time for you to go.
Do you have any doubt that one way or another, Maduro goes and goes soon?
Yeah, I don't see how he keeps this going. I mean, I think he's also looking at the idea of, does Venezuela have any leverage? Does his regime have any leverage, a card to play, perhaps? And that would, of course, be revolving around the oil, right? That's their top resource. Now, the Maduro regime and the Chavez regime before it, they've driven this country into the ground. And so, there's the possibility that, he could play that card and say, as a transaction, how about we look to this? But I think that would be in the context of him still leaving. I don't see how he stays in, even if he says, how about we do a deal where, we set Russia and China to one side and our resources now are at play for the U.S. I think he still has to go.
Got it. My Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he says talks with Ukraine negotiators were, quote, productive, but there is, quote, more work to be done. President Trump also weighing in on this. Listen to this, Mike.
Do you want, to tell Putin, here is my deadline for you?
No, I don't have a deadline. I have a deadline when the war is over. And hopefully the war is going to be over. 27,000 people killed last week. 27,000 over the last 3 or 4 weeks. 27,000 people killed. That war should end.
Mike, look, we keep asking the same question. I ask it again. Do you think a deal to end the war is close?
No. No, I don't. And the reason I say that is because, look, the Ukraine and the EU and the U.S. can talk all they want, and they can put together all the proposals that they want. The only player here that makes a difference at this stage is Putin. And he's not looking for an exit ramp, it appears. He hasn't backed off his maximalist demands in any way. They looked at that 28-point peace plan that was floated by the White House initially, which was heavily in favor of Moscow. That was the only time that Sergei Lavrov and others in the Kremlin were inclined to say, well, that looks pretty good, right? But then the 19-point plan came out, the revision, and it had far more, it was weighted more towards Ukraine, certainly, than the initial plan. And that's when Lavrov and others said, no, we're not making any concessions here. So unless you get that, this is like saying, we're having talks with Israel to end the war in Gaza. It didn't matter. What mattered was Hamas and their Iranian puppet masters. We're in the same situation here. Unless there's a reason, and that reason has got to be because Putin feels more pain. Unless he does, he's not negotiating in good faith.
No, he's not. Doesn't look like it. Mike Baker, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for joining us. See you again soon.
Thank you, Stu.